What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wedding Film School Live. We are back after a couple weeks off. I feel like I say that every week, but we're busy. It's wedding season. We're wedding filmmakers first and foremost. But welcome to today's show. We're going to review some wedding films for you, and I'm joined today by Jay, as always. Jason, what's
Hello.
up? It's been a couple weeks.
I know life is crazy right now.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think I had a shoot one week, and then I was out of town one week, and we're back.
We're back, and we're back on YouTube today.
We are. Are we also on Facebook or just YouTube?
We are on Facebook. The Facebook streaming is just horrible. Like, literally, like I have this thing live, and it like does not show up in our group. So,
Fun stuff.
yeah. So if you're on the Facebook group,
background.
you know. Sorry if you can't see this. Well, I guess not really because you're not watching it. But anyway, we're on YouTube.
Sure.
We're streaming on YouTube. We're here with you guys. Back kind of our original home. And wedding season has kind of been kicking off. Right, Bobby? How have you found the seasons going for you so far?
Well, mine is slow so far. And I think a lot of people, at least here in Minnesota, are feeling that a little bit. Mine does pick up though. Mine was just like, it is slow overall, but it's like it's not only slow overall a little bit, but also kind of like it's spread out very oddly for me this year.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. So I had like one wedding in May, one in June. And then like it's just like my fall is slammed basically. So my summer's like pretty easy, which I'm kind of cool with.
Yeah, no, I've been absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's what happens when you shoot 100 billion weddings per year. Every wedding in the world shot by Jason McCutcheon.
except we were in New York, and then we've been in. What's funny actually, in the last 2 weeks, like last 10 days, I mean, I did now, it's probably 14 days now, but whatever.
Yeah.
At one point in an 8-day period, I had done 3 weddings, and one of them was a Huxley film, which is our high-end brand. One of them was a Stop Go Love, and one of them was a Merriman film. And
Did it all.
I shot
That's
in
like where you check in on your brands and you're like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 different markets, and like I just learned. Honestly, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, these guys are YouTubers, and or like whatever your perception is of people on YouTube or people who are successful in the wedding industry, one of my number one goals as an educator and as a filmmaker is I want to understand the whole market and what it's like. And like, I got to tell you, man, the difference between these 3 events, it couldn't be any more different in the market.
I'm sure.
Like in terms of just how the couples operate and everything. But anyway, we are here to do some live film reviews. So why don't you tell everybody, if they haven't seen this, how it works?
Indeed. Well, first off, I want to let you all know that today we are graciously sponsored by our friends over at Tamron. I'll give you a little bit more on that in a bit. But when we do these Wedding Film School live reviews, we are reviewing films that you all submit to us. I will actually drop the link in chat in just a minute if you want to still submit. We're open for submissions, and then we'll kind of carry them over to next week as best we can if we don't get to them. But the way we're going to do it, we're going to watch your film, part of your film. If you are not a member here at Wedding Film School, we'll watch about
on
2 minutes.
YouTube.
On YouTube. You can hit that little join button down below. And if you do become a member, then we'll watch your full film, more, 5-6 minutes or so. If you're sending us something that's 20 minutes long,
I'll never watch your full film.
Yeah, in my entire life. But we will jump around, try to get an idea for it. And then we want to present you with critique that helps you grow as a filmmaker, focused on meeting you where you are at. And so we're going to let you know some things that we love, things that we think you did really well, and then a couple key areas to improve upon for your next wedding film.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Is how that goes.
Who do we got first then, Bobby?
Yeah, all right. I'm going to butcher this name. I believe it is Zamin from Rosie August. And let's see what they said here. It's a Burmese wedding, shot on the A7S III, a variety of Sony lenses, handheld and monopod. Let's see. I'm just skipping around here. Did a little interviews, some portrait session, but looked like they were crunched for some time. New to the wedding industry and looking for some feedback.
So one of the things I want to look at here is in the interviews, not just are they good interviews or whatever, but are they the best use of your time, and are they structuring your film in a good way?
Are they a backbone to your film, or taking away from it? Or
yeah. Anytime people are throwing in stuff like interviews, it's not really bad, but it definitely I don't really ever do them, and I have a lot of reasons, and we'll talk about that later. But we're not going to watch this whole film because it is 10 minutes long. So here's my thought.
We will be.
Let's do the first. Let's do the first minute, and then let's talk about what to do next. Let's see what we want to learn, what we want to know.
Feel.
So here we are. Let me know if this sounds good to everybody out in internet land. And yeah. Oh wait, I'm tapping the screen like it's a touch screen.
Still the same chances we don't get, but still we showing love to everyone that shows respect. At the river is where they used to. Let's go down to the river together. At the river, nothing's gonna be the same. Took us away, but karma has a different game plan. Yeah, till this day we having slaves, man. You don't see it in the news, it happens every day, man. At the river, exposed so we can change. No more others you should blame. That's the price you gotta pay for peace.
Okay, I think I'm good with this intro. What about you?
Yeah, I want to see where this intro ends.
Yeah, let's. I think it's about to. Let's. We're gonna get copyright striked for this.
Yeah, it says music bed. What's up, dude? What's up, Zom? You lied to us. Probably. Anyway.
Okay, so
maybe the next song is music bed.
ဖြူစင်တဲ့စိတ်ထားအရန်စင်ပဲဖြစ်နေပြီးတော့သူ့ရဲ့အတန်လေးသူဖုန်းပြောလို့ရှိရင်အရန်ချစ်ဖို့ကောင်းတယ် Till we lose sight of shore.
I hope the photographer posed that and not you.
Yeah.
But also, why did they pose that?
Yeah, this is odd. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I've had a couple weddings where the dress is on something like this.
I've never seen this in my life.
I'm not going to take it off to hang it somewhere, right? I don't like it, but
are you going to bring it outside?
No, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Like, I'll put it in some like deep hallway. Maybe I'll light it, kill some lights around it, make something somewhat interesting, just get a shot of the dress if I feel like I can, and if I can't, whatever. But yeah, I'm not taking it outside to whatever half circle loop around driveway or whatever. That seems odd to me. But hey, what do I know?
Trying to think of how to do this because this is way too long and I have a lot to say about this film. So I'm wondering if we should just play it in the background and talk about it.
Sure.
Because
let's watch just like go 2 minutes forward or something and let's watch another 30 seconds and then let's do that.
All right, that sounds good. What should we do? Let's do maybe let's go to the ceremony.
Sure.
Which is 7 minutes in. Interesting. Man, these people look like they're going to a funeral.
They do not look happy.
Oh, no, this is the opening to the wedding reception.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, with that said, let's go. I feel like we have a lot of stuff to say already, Jay.
Yeah. Let's watch this. So
wait, was that Za? Sorry, Zamin. It's hard because it's 10 minutes long. We can't watch the whole thing. But I do feel like we have a lot of thoughts and constructive criticism that we can give you already just from the little bits that we've watched. So Jay, do you want to start, or do you want me to start with things that you like?
I don't want to make it sound like I think this person did everything wrong, because I don't think that at all, actually. Like, I feel like they are understanding the assignment in a lot of ways. Like, they're capturing the people. Like, even the little foreground he put in the interview, that's nice.
It's a conscious decision.
Like, this is not a person who is by any means should be like, you don't know what you're doing. That being said, I do, I could clearly tell they're a little bit new to the industry, and that's great. But I do want to say, like, I think in general, like, less is more sometimes. And in this case, like, there's a lot more in the actual film than I think really, really needs to be in there. Like, it's 10 minutes, and like, I'm fast forwarding, and it's like stuff like this. Like, the guy's just like sitting there, and it's like, oh, let's have you look at your clock, like you're waiting. And then, like, you walk over there, and then, like, it's like, there's so many posed moments in this film that nobody for 1 second thinks is real. And you don't need to make them look real. Just, like, shoot them. Like, the other, like, right there, like, hi, I see that you're putting your makeup on. Like, oh, you look very nice. Like it just,
that's word for word what was said.
Like, I just look at it and I'm like, I don't, and then like, why would you have them kiss in front of that lamp? Like, and then I think there's also a lot of, like, very, very low quality footage. Like that footage of those people during the intro, and like, it's like clearly shot on a different device or something. Like, and then the white balance throughout the film, like, every time he's in natural daylight, it looks great, but it's like they're not adjusting their white balance at all. But like, look at how pixelated that is.
Yeah. Looks like maybe it's super zoomed in or something.
This is what I'm going to say in general. There are some things this person does well, but I think they're obscured behind I think focusing on the fundamentals and just focusing on the event itself and not trying to add all this extra stuff in. Like, I think they're running before they can walk a little bit. And I think that would help them a lot, is just focusing. And I guess I would say to release this filmmaker so that they don't feel, you don't have to put all this stuff in a wedding film.
Yep.
You could just document the day. And it looks like, to me, the day was had a lot going for it. There's a lot going on. I feel like this film would have been stronger if we weren't so keenly aware of the filmmaker and the photographer's presence when we're watching it. Like, I can't, most of the film feels posed and fake to me. And I think that's not really what you're going for. That's maybe just my opinion, but I think that's what I see.
Yeah, so I guess for me, the couple things I would say on the positive side. One, I do think that you're doing a lot with a little in some instances. Like, it didn't look, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of parts of the day, but like a 10-minute film, I don't make a 10-minute film. I might be there for 12 hours. So
definitely there's not enough content to make a 10-minute film in that.
Yeah, movie. I mean, I would argue in the end, exactly, it probably shouldn't be a 10-minute film anyway. But and then also, definitely, like, trying to get creative, willing to try things that I would say are probably pretty new to them, like willing to try to push themselves. Now, again, there's a flip side to that positive, which is that I think Jay put it best when he said, I think you're trying to run before you know how to walk. You're trying to do way too much. And I think a lot of it was for you rather than for the couple or for the day. And I think that is, you're losing us as viewers and kind of the, the story arc to your film and stuff because of that. So, I think kind of expanding on that, like the intro, for example, I love a good intro. This one was too long. It also wasn't different enough. It's basically just a bunch of shots of what I think is kind of the reception. But, I think it would work better with more variety, more shots from throughout the day. It's also like, look, these people are people who look like they want to have fun and are, they looked energetic and at the, at the reception, they're trying to party and there's nothing wrong with
I wonder
any
if that's a
that.
tradition right there to see the bride before she gets in her dress. Like, I don't want to mock it or whatever. That is horrible light, by the way.
Yeah, I think one thing, I'm hesitant to say learn how to take control of the day, because this filmmaker might not have the experience to do that. But I think very quickly, especially if you practice and stuff, you'll be able to learn what can work and might work and will work and won't work in a wedding film and in your lighting and in stuff like that. And
hold on 1 second. I want to see if these people if we can hear them singing at all. Because that was the next thing I was going to say. I really think the biggest missed opportunity in this film is the fact that these people, you have all these performances and all this stuff going on that's really interesting and pivotal to who they are. And instead of showing, it's the classic show, don't tell. Like, it's much more effective to show them singing together than to have them do an interview talking about how they like singing.
Yeah.
And you save minutes of footage, and you're not making.
It allows you to make a film that's more compelling because it's 4 minutes instead of 10 minutes, because you're not talking for 6 minutes about the things that you should show.
Yes, and I think it's probably good footage.
Yeah,
it's interesting footage to show things that are interesting and compelling. And at the end of the day, so that's my biggest thing for you. And then I think there's a lot of fundamentals like exposure, white balance. That shot is totally out of focus. It shouldn't even be in the film. And you have this daylight balanced light blasting them, like this side shot of this guy.
It's one of those things too. I think this filmmaker, there are bits and pieces throughout this that show me this is not their first time picking up a camera. Mm-hmm. They have some building blocks. They have the ability to definitely get better. They show some areas where they do understand. And I think it's maybe weddings specifically is not something they've done. And you are working in some odd settings and some rough settings, and you need to be able to manage those better, I think.
I also question this interview why we're doing an interview while she's getting her hair done.
It's probably the only time I would ditch out, be like, okay.
Well, and also the makeup person would be pissed because you're doing she's crying.
Yeah.
Before she just got her makeup done and she's crying. It's just, I really want to see what this filmmaker can do with a little more of a simple approach.
Yeah, where it's just I'm gonna lock down on a monopod or tripod or whatever and just get beautiful shots, and I'm not gonna try to do too much.
But I don't like those overlays. They're low quality and bad.
I was gonna say I feel like they're grainy and
they just look like something you stole off Google. But I will say that's terrible. Don't include that. But I will say I do like the fact that they went for a cool intro. I like that they included this practice footage. There's a lot of stuff. I just want to see them execute a little bit better and maybe simplify a little bit. And I think they're going to be on to a really good start. And I would say keep going, keep pushing, make it a little simpler. And I think you'll be in a much better foot for your next film.
Yeah. And I'm not, I don't think either of us are saying don't try to get creative. I think we're just saying when you get creative, you don't have to do 100 things. Try one thing in your next film, and only if it makes sense to that film, to that couple.
Yeah, it's really about what are you gonna do? I always think this is a product I'm selling, and I shouldn't be messing around on someone else's money.
Yeah,
I should make sure I'm gonna be able to deliver what they asked for, but also
for sure.
So anyway, that was good though. Keep going. Please submit again. We would love to see you as you develop. These are everything we're saying, by the way, Bobby, is always stuff that these people are just naturally going to catch on to. I always believe that. It's
I think so too.
We're just saying something. They're gonna be in 5 years, they're gonna look at their work and probably say the same thing. And so it's normal
We look back at some of our
Oh,
first weddings. That was one of the first videos we did here. Yeah, it's rough. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it is what it is.
It's cool to see, though. And it's cool for us to see as educators and reviewing your films and stuff like that when we do have people who submit early on and then they submit, you know, maybe at the end of the year or the next year or something, and seeing that growth is really cool.
Should we review do a live film critique of How to Film Weddings live film critique?
Yes, super meta. Review within a review. Well, I see here that I drank a sip of my water and I was a little too close to the mic. I probably should have thought about that, my audio settings.
Yes. All right.
But thank you so much for submitting. Please submit again. And a reminder, guys, today's live stream is sponsored by our friends over at Tamron. I don't know if you've used Tamron lenses. I know, Jay, you've used them. I currently use them. I just used them yesterday for a commercial shoot. I used the 35 to 150. It was perfect for what I was doing. And I used it almost exclusively for a wedding that I'm wrapping up from a couple of weeks ago. We love our friends at Tamron. And they're making some cool lenses. Like I said, that 35 to 150 f2 to f2.8. As well as the 28 to 75, kind of their take on the 24 to 70. Some really solid stuff coming from them at very reasonable prices, which makes it.
Yeah, I've been using the 11 to 20 on the Fujifilm 2.8, which is great, and then also a very unique focal length, the 17 to 70, which goes on an APS-C crop, so it's like a 35 to 100.
That's pretty wide range, yeah.
Yeah, 2.8 all the way through, and they're great and very, very light and affordable. So check them out.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I remember, Jay, like back in the day, it was like if you didn't buy, at the time I was on Canon, if you didn't buy the Canon L series glass, like
what are you even doing?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like you're saving money, but it's at a cost, and I don't know. It's cool to see, kind of these, what would it be? Not first party lens manufacturers, like getting some just high quality glass out there and kind of keeping the price structure similar. And good for everybody.
Yep.
So you can go check out some of the lenses that we recommend of theirs in the link in the description. We have some of their lenses listed in our gear kits. And, you can check our reviews on some of these various lenses that we've done in the past. And we'll have a new one coming out pretty soon here that I'm working on currently as well. So many thanks to them for the sponsorship. And without further ado,
who's our next film?
Move on. Our next film is coming from Goran, who is a regular around here. This is definitely not the first time I've seen him submit or that we've reviewed his films. Let's see what he said. Says, last time I sent a video for review, you said you would like to see a longer film with more audio. So I finally finished this film. Would love for you to critique it. Shot on the Sony, various lenses, and the couple photo shoot was short. This was done with 2 shooters. So I don't know what this one is. This might be long as well, Jay.
Yeah, it's like 11 minutes.
In which case we'll jump around. Yeah, I don't know, Goran, I don't remember what we reviewed of yours. It might have been a teaser.
Yeah, I think it was a teaser.
Jay, yeah. And so we might have just been saying, not that there's anything wrong with that teaser probably, but just like we would love to see some of your work that has some more like substance to it. 11 minutes, of course, a little too long for us. We will not review the whole thing, but we will jump around a little bit and try to get you some critiques and thoughts and whatnot.
Here we go. Let's do it. I thought he already sent this.
Oh, this might be the full film of this teaser.
Oh.
Every time I get up, I fall. Had to put back together, but it fell apart. You can't fix my broken heart. You got me high. Oh yeah, I'm finally high. Yeah. And I'm singing out loud. Yeah, singing out loud.
A classic.
Wir feiern euch und eure Liebe. Ich danke dir vom Herzen, diese ehrenvolle Aufgabe zu haben. Ich fühle mich zutiefst dankbar und geehrt. Ich habe dich so sehr lieb. I love you, my girl. Du bist die schönste Braut innerlich und äußerlich. Du bist Frau Schumann.
What is this song?
Never heard it. They sound like they could do well in the wedding business, though.
I might do a song to like an edit to a song like this. I'm very confused by this film. I'm trying to figure out when it slows. Like, how do we get to 13 minutes here?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because
Im 14. Jahrhundert erstmalig erwähnt.
okay, what do we want to do here? What do you want, Bobby?
I want to skip to the transition to the like reception and watch just a little bit of that kind of transition. So it looks like we're seeing a lot of ceremony in the middle there.
Yes.
Und möge sie euch stets wie Sterne den Weg durch das Dunkel erhellen.
Let's just take the long way home. You've got me running in circles.
So much good shooting in this.
Yeah.
Let's just keep spinning, spinning, spinning. Just keep going round, going round. You've got me running in
Cocktails, kind of
Just hugging.
Yeah.
just kidding.
Here, probably around here. Maybe not.
Oh my good Lord, what a feeling. All of this joy I've been stealing. We all need someone that can make us believe.
Okay, we could probably let it run in the back and talk a little.
Yeah. So, it's by no means is it at all bad. It's a very good wedding film. Again, like they did their job. The couple will like it.
For sure.
And I love. There's a lot of shooting that I really enjoy. I even like a lot of this stuff, even though some of it's not perfect. I like the vibe I'm getting. It feels like this kind of. Even like a little unhinged kind of way of shooting when you're in this crazy place with all these people running around and dressed and wearing, like, I think there's a lot of really good stuff. Like that looks awesome, even though it's red. And I would tell them, can we not make it look like they're dancing in hell? But
I think we had that. I'm pretty sure we had this exact same.
It's just so
conversation when we
crazy
talked
to
about
me
the
that like DJs are not like, this looks bad. Doesn't even match the room they're in. Regardless, all that being said, I think this person makes very good choices about their shooting, and I like it's a joy to watch. It's really beautiful. I think my issues, and we'll get into it when we do our critiques, are really with the editing, but the shooting I think is really excellent, and I think there's a lot to love about it.
Yeah, I think on the positive side, some of the things I liked. There are some very beautiful shots. I think that you do a good job of kind of showing where we are. Obviously, we're in this beautiful location in the mountains. I don't know exactly where, but you want to show that off, and it's interspersed throughout, and it's done. We're not beat over the head with it, but we're also not missing it. So I feel like it was like the appropriate amount. Some pretty stuff with the couple. I think some pretty good coverage of the day, especially that reception area looks, cramped, low lit, whatever. And you came away with a bunch of footage. And I think you made the right decision, like Jay said, in that, look, not a lot of it looks amazing. It doesn't look maybe in line with some of your other shooting in these beautiful settings, but the couple will love seeing that, and you got a lot of footage. I think you made the right choice to still obviously capture that. And then yeah, I think those are the things that I would say kind of, you excelled at. But, on the flip side, Jay, even with good shots and whatnot, there's always things to work on. So what do you think stands out to you?
So there's not being able to understand it. Obviously, I don't want to be overly critical because I don't know everything everyone said. I think the biggest thing I'll say is the sequence of the film makes little sense to me. I know that they kind of like towards the end, it's like now it's nighttime. And I also don't think you have to hold yourself to be like first getting ready, then ceremony, then you don't have to have such a, I'm not talking about the chronology of the film, but I'm trying to understand the logic behind how you edited it and like what you were trying to say. Like, and you can hear it even in some of like the transitions, like the transition from the first two songs. You didn't end it at a part in the song that felt like it should have ended. It just kind of like fades out.
And the other thing
changes.
That first transition was rough.
The next song kind of just comes in, and there wasn't like a moment where it's like, bam, and then you just have a nice little establishing shot, and like the person knows like, oh, we're switching gears here. Now we're going to this other thing, and I think like that's my biggest critique is like you feel a little bit lost when you're watching it. And hard to orient yourself as to what the filmmaker's trying to say with how they arranged each section. Like, we're at like minute 2 and she's walking down the aisle, but then they don't, everything's kind of like probably minute 8 or 7 when they recess. And, you can do all that stuff, but I couldn't catch as to why you arranged it the way that you chose to arrange it. And I felt like, maybe the fact that I couldn't understand the whole middle part definitely contributes. So take that with a grain of salt. But
yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, I do feel like intentionally editing something in a way where everyone watching it understands, like, is it organized by emotion, or is it organized by environment, or is it organized by chronology? But like that's storytelling 101, right? Is like someone can follow what you're trying to say. And I think that's the biggest thing I would try to work on if I was you, is making sure that whoever's watching the film understands what you're trying to communicate with how you made editing choices.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I would say, and maybe you're held to this by what your client purchased, but this is not to me a 13-minute film, or it shouldn't be. It is, and I think this could be such a killer, 5-minute film or something, and so. I think there's that aspect. And then I have a bunch of kind of just small things that I kind of question. There were a few little, there were some exposure issues here and there. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to shoot like in and on snow like this, broad daylight.
Oh yeah. They did it pretty well. I think. Is
tough. And I almost hesitate to mention it because I think it's like within the tolerable range of like, yeah, it still looks fine, and like that's a brutal scenario to shoot in. The other things I would say, 2 things that are small. I don't like the drone hyperlapse. I don't understand.
No, I don't like that.
It's a bunch of skiers going up, or the the lifts or whatever going up.
It was distracting.
Gondolas or whatever. Yeah, it's distracting, and I think that shot would be so much better just as a normal speed drone shot.
Agreed.
And then one other thing that I wanted to mention that I think is small, but I think would, one of the cool shots that I really liked was their like bubble/confetti exit from their ceremony. But I think it was 2 shooters, and I think this is maybe more of a communication thing. Maybe if you knew this is what was happening, you would have known to like change it. But you basically
I want to see what he's saying.
Für dich da zu sein, wann immer du mich brauchst.
I wonder if this is just how they all do their weddings over there.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Kind of interesting. Have you ever had someone sit down and read to each other during a wedding ceremony?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so you had both of you basically at the back inside corner. You were opposite each other, and you were both shooting on like a 50 or something. Like it was the exact same shot from 4 feet away from each other, and you're cutting back and forth. I think one of you needs to go wide or get in there with a gimbal and track out or something, just to like mix it up. And if you can't, I would rather that you sit on a shot rather than cut back and forth between what is essentially the exact same shot.
I agree.
Just from like a slightly different angle, which is just kind of threw me for a loop. And then the last thing that I would say, one of the things that stood out to me, although ironically we didn't see much of it because we kind of skipped this middle portion, which is like pretty much all the ceremony. But we did see the like letter being read to her by, I'm assuming, a bridesmaid or something. And then we just stopped a little bit and watched this. I think the audio would be a big upgrade for you, figuring out how to make that higher quality. And I don't know what you're using to capture it, but it sounds echoey and not high quality. And I think that's probably an easy fix.
Well, here's a small thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
That thing being directly in front of your person who's the primary communicator during the ceremony, setting up right behind the glass ball or bowl or whatever is going on there.
Yeah.
I would try to make sure I had a clear shot too. So.
Yeah. Those are all small things though, of course. Like I feel like a lot of what we pointed out is like, you know, it really is those like small, very achievable steps to have a big impact on your next film.
If they did not pay for it, Bobby, how long do you think this film actually should be?
Yeah, I mean, I just naturally gravitate towards that like under 5 minute mark or around there, because I'm looking at the breakdown. It was like 2-ish minutes she walks down the aisle. 7 or 8 is when they leave. That, I mean, I know we saw some other stuff, but really that was like 5 minutes of ceremony.
Well, there was like tons of talking in the ceremony, tons of hugging during the reception.
Yeah.
I felt like I saw her throw her, like
her
tons of her
a
just
couple times. We saw it in the
spinning,
intro,
tons of repeated footage over and over again. I would say I would love to see a film of yours 6 minutes and under.
Yeah.
Like something where it's like just tighter. You hit all these moments, but you just don't show them multiple times and you get through them a little quicker.
And you're showing kind of your best, like, okay, here's 10 shots of people hugging, but in my 6 minute film, like I'm showing them either all quickly or like I need to cut it down to the 3
I
best
show
shots.
one hug.
Yeah.
Like your goal is not to show all the people they care about in the wedding film.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do that. It doesn't work. And so,
well, you can't do it in a compelling film.
Look, this is a receiving line. I think if they want to see their receiving line, give them a multicam edit of their receiving line. Just give them like a separate film or something. But you don't need to put it in the highlight film. Like literally, we're watching every person they hugged.
Yeah.
Like that is not interesting.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you 100%. Cool. Well, thank you so much for submitting.
Yes.
Goran.
Good stuff, though. Really good stuff. I mean, that's, you know, at the end of the day, like anytime people are like, well, maybe the couple will love it, I always think that's a good.
Yeah.
I'd rather that error.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and Jay, I'm going to give you a different one. I'm going to put it in the 4th slot.
Can't wait to see this different film.
I'm going rogue here. All right.
Here we go.
There you go. So this one's coming from Trenton, who just submitted during the live stream, and I know they are in chat.
Trenton, how long have you been a wedding filmmaker? Let us know.
I think they've submitted here before, but it's been a while.
That Trenton in chat.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen Trenton around as much, maybe, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We haven't been around as much
together. Man, we are just hitting it with the 10-ish plus minute films today. 3 for 3. This one.
Maybe
9.
me and you are just off. Maybe
we're not reading the market.
I don't know. I feel like I'm making plenty of money, so.
That's true. It is also like 90 degrees in my house right now because I refuse to turn on the AC still. And
wow, you don't even have kids yet. You're already becoming a dad.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm grumpy and I don't want to turn it on.
You know what? Like that movie Stepdads 2.
Okay.
Kind of a terrible movie. Like, but
Okay.
there's this one entire sequence where they have a fight about the thermostat, and he's like turns the thermostat down, and then the two other dads come out and they're like, "What? He touched the thermostat?"
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure eventually I'll turn it on, but I don't want to turn my AC on. I'm like, it's so almost nice out, and then it gets like a little hot.
Nah, man,
We'll
it's
figure it out.
it ain't nice. It's hot. But here we go. Let's do this.
All right.
Bree,
Coming to
you call
us
yourself
from
one of the
Trenton.
rarest kind of Pokemon.
I'm playing it, Bobby. I'm playing it.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Bree, you call yourself one of the rarest kind of Pokemon out there. Nat doesn't drink or smoke, and that in itself is special, especially because you now have a forever DD. As I've grown to know you, Bree, it's only become more evident that you two are meant for each other. Y'all's journey getting to this point has been fun, one to witness and be a part of. Lastly, through it all, I'm honored to call you my brother, Nat, and Bree, welcome to this crazy family. So congratulations, Bree and Nat. Cheers.
When everybody's down to ride, yeah, you know it's on the vibe. And ain't nobody gotta care, cause we already there. When everybody's down to ride, yeah, you know it's on the vibe. And ain't nobody gotta care, cause we already there.
Solid intro.
Where are we? About the minute? Yeah.
Yep. That's a Goran. That's what I'm talking about, by the way. That the last film, the way that they transitioned, where they gave us a nice, clean. This is now
Clean cut.
switching, and so the film, you're going, okay, now things are, and it's
Okay,
dramatically
we're
different.
resetting in our head. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I would have done
Today is
that
a
shot
special
though of
day
them
that holds a
swaying
special
back
place
and
in my
forth.
heart. September 15th, 7 years
I think I would have preferred them to just go straight to that drone shot. But anyway,
ago, I asked Bree to be my girlfriend. September 15th, I got down on one knee and asked her to be my I proposed to her. September 15th, today, I get to say I do and call you my wife.
this is an older film, huh?
Said this is older.
September 15th.
But yeah. Oh, right, yeah.
Moment I started to see you as more than a friend. We were at the beach during the summer of 2016, and all I could think was that you were cute and had great taste in music. I decided that I would put myself out there and just see how things went. In the beginning, I felt nervous but also giddy with the excitement anytime we talked. I honestly never thought about marriage and weddings until I met you. We have grown together so much over the past 7 years. We have gone from those carefree college students to the fun but hardworking adults we are today. You have taught me so much about myself and opened me up to new ways of
How do you feel about this prep footage right here?
best friends first and foremost, and I hope that never changes.
Which are you asking specifically about?
Just kind of
something?
that sequence of like kind of switching to like a very posed kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
I normally don't like it. The only thing I'll say in
Yeah.
their favor is I don't mind it as much when they have this inner monologue kind of thing going on.
yeah.
Like I feel like
I also think when it's done, like it was well executed. That's important.
God, every day that you keep that smile.
see, my only thought is if she was reading that just like he was during that
Yeah.
moment, I take it back because I think honestly that would have been more impactful if I would have known she was reading that directly to him during their first look. I don't think we showed it at all. No, we did. I just couldn't really tell. I couldn't really tell. I'm wondering, like, if they would have had some kind of establishing shot where they both walk in and get into that position.
Yeah, like set that up. Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, I would have liked that too.
All right, I'm gonna go to this. Yeah, that's someone else talking.
Yeah, so I know one thing was like the parents had passed away, and so that was part of one of the speeches that was in the.
Yeah, I think this is her sister.
Love through all of the cheers
Maybe, yeah.
people make and all of the warm.
Because
when our parents passed, we were doing our own thing, barely making it, trying our best, and afraid to burden one another. We were waiting for the moment where we can say to one another, "Hey, we made it." But Nat, I just want you to know, you've made it. You've found somebody that loves you so much, and that's worth way more than anything that money can ever buy.
Nat, we couldn't have picked a better person, and that, to a father, is more than I could ask for. I look forward to making you that new son of our family. I will do whatever I can to make your life happy. But I'm sure even if me and Denise were not around, you two would be just fine on your own.
It's just so far into the film.
Yeah.
To be doing this. Like, and then like she's walking down the aisle like minute.
I like it lining up with the speech, but
I do too. I just think like
yeah, it's really far.
I love you then doesn't even compare to how much I love you now. You're the best thing I never knew I needed. Thank you for being the Mike to my Phoebe, the Chandler to my Monica, the Rip to my Beth, and the Phil to my Claire. I pledge myself to you in this life and to seek you in the next. I love you more than you'll ever know.
I love you, Bree. I will forever cherish you. You are my beautiful gem.
Let's see if we get upbeat at the end here.
Doesn't seem like there's time, but I could be wrong.
And a promise of a future filled with endless happiness. By the power invested in me,
Vested.
State of
A classic.
Yeah, okay. This feels like this should be hitting like minute 5, not minute 8.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. That's gonna be probably my number one critique.
Oh no. That was not a. They missed the kiss. That 7200 is so close, too.
Yeah, I would honestly be shocked if they were in frame and in focus. I was just thinking that.
The dance floor looks cool, man.
It was really, really crowded, but yeah, this dance stuff looks great.
But if you just take that tripod,
man, yeah,
and you put it behind the crowd, and you get some foreground, or like, look at those. Like, I would use those candelabras.
Openings, yeah.
Anyway, so. Cool. A lot of good stuff in this film. So let's start there. Really, really beautiful exposures, and I even like a lot of the storytelling. Like, I like.
I would agree. I think the structure is, I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe not structure, but
the structure to me is maybe it needs some work. But I think the way that he chose to like implement the footage, the found footage, the moments they captured, the audio, even like as much as I think it could be tightened up, I even like
for sure.
Like the toast segments they included were really good. The dialogue parts they included were good. The handheld stuff when they kind of like even like that's mad cheesy.
Yeah.
Really cheesy stuff, but you shot it playfully. So therefore it allows you to cover up the cheesiness a little better. Like if people are having fun, you should be having fun with your camera. Like you shouldn't be shooting something super seriously when people are actually acting silly. Like there's nothing wrong with silliness at weddings. It's really when you take silly things seriously that I'm like, that looks off-putting to me. And you didn't do that.
It's like a disconnect.
I actually really like the even the overlays that they did during the dance floor. Like a lot of that crazy, I'm not sure if it was just like a paid pack that they bought, or if they just kind of used some footage they shot during the day.
Yeah, it looks like footage to me, but maybe not.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was done super well. I really like the intro. I think maybe didn't need to be a minute, but like
intro is
totally
great though.
fine with a minute. But yeah, super solid. I love the found footage stuff too, the way it's implemented. I thought that you implemented the parents really well who had passed away. I thought that was well done, and like it's like a tasteful way to do it that weaves its way effortlessly into the story as the sister's talking about it. I would echo again, just some really like solid shots, a lot of great coverage. You had a lot of good footage to work with, the right choices as far as like, audio snippets and stuff. There was some really solid stuff in there, and, woven together pretty well. And I think all around
good lighting too. I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, all around just a lot of really solid stuff, a lot to love about this film. I do have a few things that I would change though, but Jay, I'll let you go first.
One of them is just the structure of the story. It feels chunky in some parts where I would trim it. Like, I feel like we're taking a really long time to get to the point sometimes, and I'm not sure exactly why, but I just know like the fact that we're doing like all the vows and all that stuff, and then the bride's walking down the aisle at like minute 8 almost, like it's essentially like the entire narrative structure of the film is in the middle of the ceremony, but then at the end of the film you try to use the beginning of the ceremony as the climax. And that's the thing to me that throws me off a little bit, because I just personally kind of was like, oh, I thought we were here already. Oh, no, we're coming back. We're going back. Now she's going to walk down the aisle. I'm like, I've been watching her stand at the front of the aisle the entire film, though.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this is just me. It's just a personal thing. Like, that's a cool shot, by the way, including that the newspaper thing. Yeah, I just really usually, like, if I'm going to show the bride in the ceremony, I almost always show her walking down the aisle before I show her in the ceremony on the standing on the stage. Especially because in this particular film, I don't know if you noticed, but his back was turned and someone made him turn around. And my guess would be the reason they didn't do that is because that was a very dramatic moment and he wanted to use it at the peak of the song.
Yeah.
I think that was a wrong call. I think that you should have just made your film work for what you wanted and not built an entire film around that being the climax, even though it's a good moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, given if this film was 6 minutes long, even, I think that would hit in a better spot. You'd probably be looking at like...
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads me to a question. Trenton is probably...
But really well covered. Like, I love the way they shot it.
Yeah, I'm curious, Trenton, is that whatever, 10-minute or whatever, this film was 9 minutes. Like, what are your collections? Like, are they buying a 9-minute film? Could this have been shorter? Do you give a range? Do you just decide and say, I'll make it whatever I make it? Like, kind of what does that look like for you? Because I would agree, although, this is a common theme for me. I think I agree in that, like, this actually was really solid for a 9-minute film, but I still do think it could be tightened up a little bit.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge when you're trying to like take the most emotionally dramatic moment in the day and put it at the best part in the song.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I felt like you were trying to do, and I think it was largely successful, but it just was like, it's just a small thing. Like, I'm trying to think of how to give like better feedback, because I know in some ways this is just my taste, but like, and also just in general too, like, I don't particularly like films where there's a lot of focus on seeing the bride. Like, to me, I don't care about that. I don't care about dad first looks. I don't care about first looks. That to me is not a moment that I find to be particularly compelling. I think you include it, but I think everything else you communicated emotionally was so much better than just remember that time the girl saw her, remember that time the dad saw her, remember the time that he saw her. Like, and I felt like it didn't need all those moments to be so protracted. That's all.
Yeah.
Overlays. You were going to mention the overlays.
Yes. So I think that's my biggest critique. I like it here. like, you know, does it have to be this Cinestill 50 whatever? Like, no, I don't know, it could be whatever, but I think that works. It didn't take me out. And I do like it in the you know, I like it with some found footage. And I like it in the intro specifically. I think it works. It's out of the box, you know, upbeat, whatever. But we see it a lot throughout the film, and I don't love it elsewhere, I guess is what I would say.
Well, this is a good example right here. Like, we have this.
Yeah.
This beautiful shot right here. I would not have done that. Like,
that's what I don't like. That's a good example of what I don't love.
Just because it feels like kind of like to me, it feels like kind of like overly edgy over something that's very formal,
and for no like reason. Kind of. That's where I start to struggle. Is like, I think I could see the reason in the intro, because it is edgy. It's this upbeat song. We're going fast. We're like showing a bunch of stuff. Let's pop 5 of these on screen, whatever. But it's like, when it's done too often, it loses its value. And when you've kind of set the framework of like, oh yeah, upbeat intro, look at these cool, they're not transitions, whatever, overlays. And then we leave that and we're in this not upbeat section. And exactly, it's like traditional, formal, beautiful. And then you're throwing that in, you've already like set it up to be this like something else kind of. And I think that's where my issue arises, where I'm like, my brain has been trained for this to be like party time, we're upbeat. And then I'm like, wait, why is it here too? This is like not that kind of.
Yeah, and he said we tried 6 minutes, and couldn't get enough emotion, and I kind of understand that. I understand that, but
yeah, I mean, you had a lot of really good stuff to work with, and probably even more so than what you included. So
it's tough for me to say, because this is just I like, whenever you're looking at someone else's work, there's a lot you don't know, first of all, and then second of all, like, then there's the personal taste of the artist, and so. I personally looked at it and I was like, yeah, just for me, if it was me, I would probably try to find a way to tighten it up. But at the end of the day, too, you know, I don't know. It's tough. So there's a lot to
I will
work in.
also say, I mean, they have the footage to, like, every shot in this is very well done, or most. I'm sure there's a couple where I'm like, I don't know, like I would do this differently. But like, it's a lot of really good stuff. And so a lot of times I think, you know, I think
that
one
girl's
of the
always
reasons
falling in all the footage.
I think one of the reasons why I say, like, you know, with a lot of films where I'm like, this needs to be shorter, is because you're filling time with just footage that's bad, you know, and that's not really the case here. And so that really helps you. Like, when you say, hey, we wanted to include all this stuff, it really just felt better to us as a 9-minute film. I'm kind of like,
oh, I totally see their point. I just mainly think, honestly, I feel like if that if the ceremony was restructured a little, I would probably feel totally different about the length. So I think that's just kind of where it is. So it's tough to figure out, like, where's the climax of my wedding film? Like, I'm usually looking for that. Like, what did the filmmaker view as the moment? And I agree with them that was a cool moment. I just felt like we waited a little too long to get to the point. But really cool film, really good filmmaker, and really appreciate your submission and your time with us today in the chat.
I do too. That was a fun one to watch, fun to review, and just a really solid film that I feel like the couple was, like, you know, well represented, and you got this, like, you know, classy yet fun vibe.
Well, I think that brings up, Bobby, one of the number one things with wedding filmmaking is not the bad weddings, not the weddings where the content is bad, the couple is not the best, you made a bunch of mistakes, like, you know, that is what it is, right? But it does happen. But at the end of the day, it's like, you can only do what you can do, and usually you have a limited amount of choices, right?
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing as a wedding filmmaker, and we don't talk about this enough as an industry, is like, when you get to that solid B, like, you can shoot every wedding and you shoot a nice B plus without even trying.
Yeah.
You know, how do you push it over the top? And like, what do you do when you have everything great? How do you edit yourself? How do you figure out how to like get all this stuff in there and all that junk? I find that to be much harder than just what do I do when I have a bunch of mistakes or a bunch of problems to deal with. So I think this is a good example of like some of the issues that can come in when you have a lot of content, and the answers are not always so straightforward. So by no means are we the experts on this or whatever.
Yeah, true.
Because it's debatable, because there's everything that is included is of quality.
Yeah.
So,
which is a good problem to have.
I am totally sympathetic to your position here, because I've been in the same position, and they might have done it a total different way, and maybe another person would be like, "Oh, it was good, but it didn't have enough emotion."
Yeah.
You know, so good stuff. Good film.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. Well, yeah, we appreciate you submitting, and we are gonna wrap it up there. Thank you all for joining. You can continue to submit your films at our website, which is www.weddingfilm.school, and you'll see a live review tab on there. We will be back, I believe, next week. I think I'm around. I think Jay's around, and if we are, we'll let you know.
Senor.
But we greatly appreciate y'all being here. If you want to help out the channel, make sure you're subscribed. You can also choose to become a member by hitting the join button. We will review more of your film. You also get some other benefits, a private Facebook group and stuff like that. Make sure to join our Facebook group if you are not on there already. And finally, thanks to our sponsors of this stream, Tamron, making some awesome lenses for wedding filmmakers, and really for anybody who's using a camera. You can check out some of their lenses at the link in the description, and look out for a video on their 35 to 150 and some other stuff from us here at Wedding Film School.
Couple
Thanks so much.
BTSs in the works.
Yeah.
We got I'm still actually working on that not Copper Stallion. They are actually going to be in the video. It's ending up being like an hour-long expose of wedding film.
It's deep.
Studios. We did interviews with the people. We talked to people affected. We just haven't had time to really work on it, because it's kind of like ended up being a much bigger
a huge thing
product than I thought it was going to be. I'm also working on I know it's late, but one of the things we want to do differently on the channel, because like at the end of the day, like we're not going to be YouTube stars, guys. So we want to bring something different to the table.
Never know.
Well, who knows? But we're doing a review on the Rode Go as well, the new one.
Go.
And I've been actually taking it to weddings for the last couple months and actually trying to break it. And I have broken it in several occasions. In ways that you would probably break it. So like one of the things we want to be doing with our channel with these reviews is doing our best to make them from the perspective of a wedding filmmaker and actually bring them on site. So if you're wondering like, where's the content? Why are they doing less content? We are trying to do
real content.
Just stick to our values as wedding filmmakers. And if that resonates with you and you want that type of content, like you don't just want guys who get a camera sent to them and then just turn it on in the office,
and they're like, "Oh, cool, this looks good."
Give you the list of features that everyone else gave you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's just not what our values are. So we're taking this stuff in the field and actually trying to see if it'll work for you as a wedding filmmaker. So I'm working on that as well. But there's all kinds of stuff going on. And then in July, I'm going to be releasing a new podcast, a new show. With Benj Heish called the Wedding Creatives Podcast, and it's going to be a show with a photographer who Benj Heish is one of the premier elopement and kind of in a lot of ways invented the genre.
He does some solid work.
And we're going to be having a podcast where we have a photo person and a video person talking about working together and being wedding creatives at the show. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And of course, we got our show, the Wedding Film School Show, which we're starting new episodes again, dropping next Tuesday. And we have like 6 to 8 in the works that are coming up, and even more for the whole season. And we're going to be dropping an episode next week with Shane from the Wedding Report. Talking about the 2024 slump and kind of the state of the wedding industry, but with data, analytics. If you like data and numbers, and you want to hear from someone who doesn't care what you think and isn't selling you a class, they're just telling you what the numbers are, then I think you'll enjoy that episode.
Sweet. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.